What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 31. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 9011. Today I'm joined by Nolan and Kevin, once again making their return to the podcast. Remember, guys, you can watch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every first and third Saturday of the month, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you can't watch it live, that's A-OK. You can watch it like you are right now over on youtube.com. Search Enigma9011. The podcast today is sponsored by two things. That's right, two, not just one. First, we're sponsored by the merch store today. You can follow the link down below. Get all your Enigma 9011 swag, t-shirts, backpacks, tank tops, and more. And then also we are brought to you by Extra Life. Our Extra Life stream is coming up on November 23rd. That is Black Friday, Thanksgiving weekend. You guys can watch that 24 hours of chaos, raising some money to help out the big, beautiful kids at the Children's Miracle Network Hospital. Everyone at this table will be there at some point. I'll be there the whole 24 hours. I believe Kevin's coming in the afternoon. Nolan is coming at some time, but we'll be there. We got a variety of games. First 12 hours is the chaos where everybody's there. We got Halo 3, Super Smash Bros., Gang Beasts, Jackbox, the Extra Life Tournament. Second 12 hours is either me running solo or people joining in. Possibility of Mario Party, Cuphead, and more bullshit. We'll have the wheel spin of random punishments for every $10 donation, and we have the big stretch goals as well.
Wasn't told.
So that's about it. All right, Nolan, kick it off. What is your topic?
Don't forget about our official beverage sponsor.
Poland? No, not Poland Spring. Spring water.
Spring water.
By Price Chopper. Price Chopper. Always fresh.
All
That was good. They ain't paying us, but we're drinking it.
Well, I know you you took a trip to San Jose,
Yep.
Bay Area. I don't know if you've taken any recent big trips.
Just came back from Singapore.
There you go. Okay, perfect. So I just came back from Paris myself. I was there for a week, solo, went alone, lived out of a backpack in a hostel for a week. So yeah, I just think it's something everyone should do at some point is travel as much as possible. It's good to get different perspectives, especially international, see how different people live around the world. You know, different little differences even, you know, you might not really think about, and then it's just good to get an outside perspective, to get out of your own little world for a little bit. I mean, it was definitely the best trip or anything I've ever taken. It was, I think, probably the first big trip I ever took solo, without any family or friends or anything. I think that's also something people should do more, to travel alone. I think that's big. I mean, I know you travel alone quite a bit, so I feel like you might have a perspective on that too. But did you go to Singapore with anybody?
I was doing it for work. I was all around the Pacific for 7 months, so.
Yeah, so you like flew alone and stuff there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think it's good because you get, I don't know, when you're with other people, there's sort of a worry or stress, I think, always. It might not even be intentional. I'm just worrying about like what other people want to do, if they're going to want to do the same things you do. You know, just, you don't have to worry about being everybody being up and going and doing stuff together. Like, you can wake up whenever you want, go do whatever you want, go to sleep whenever you want. You know, you're trying to do stuff, wake up, you're on a family vacation, right? And you want to do stuff, and you're up early, and you gotta wait for people. I mean, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
The opposite is frustrating. You just want to sleep in and relax because it's your vacation.
We gotta go. We gotta do this.
Yeah, I mean, that's equally bad. But when you travel by yourself, you can do everything at your own pace. I just feel like there's much less stress. Like, things that happened that would have been stressful had I been traveling with other people were no stress at all. Like, I got randomly pulled aside for a screening, like a random screening at Charles de Gaulle. So if I was like with other people, if I had to board with other people and wait and I got pulled aside, it would have been like annoying. So they would have been worrying.
Yeah.
But I mean, they just went through my backpack, took my shoes off, and then I skipped the whole boarding line. So it was actually like a good thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I could sit in my seat and not have to like wait in a line on the airline and everything. So yeah, you know, you can do whatever you want. I think, you know, Western Europe's not. It's like as close to like America with being in a different hemisphere, obviously, but it's still different enough. I think it gives you a different perspective.
Yeah, I agree with the traveling alone thing. Like I said, the first time I did it, I was going out to visit Charlie. I mean, it was my first time flying too, but yeah, stress levels were there. Like leading up to it were higher. But once out there and everything was situated and settled, like that was nice. And then over the past couple of years, and especially this past year with the past couple of months, like we've been going a lot of places, Colorado, California twice, out like that. But yeah, like I agree with the freedom thing you were talking about. Like, oh, what do I feel like doing? Going for a walk, or go to a movie, or go to this, go to that. It was the same thing in North Carolina too. Even just driving down there, like I knew I wanted to get down there in 12 hours, one shot. Yeah. But like if I really needed to, I could have been like, nah, I'm gonna take a side path or stop or something. And then also having the freedom of the car to go out and do things, like, because I knew obviously people like cousins were all getting older that got work to do and jobs and things like that, so I can't be like, oh well, you should stop what you're doing because I'm coming up. So it was nice having the freedom of being like, okay, I could go drive around, and I found a lot of comic book shops that I was interested in, and video game stores and things like that. But yeah, traveling alone is definitely an experience. But I think once over that initial hump, that first one, like I think it's definitely good. I can't imagine doing what you did and packing a backpack.
It's not that bad though.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It seems like a challenge, but.
So you think 5 days is really like I'm packing for 5 because the first day I'm wearing what I'm gonna wear.
Yep.
So I mean, you do simple things like you have your stuff to the airport. Like I had a hoodie, I wore that. I had a flannel, I wore that under the hoodie. Other than that, I had the t-shirt I wore there, and I think 5 t-shirts for the days after that. And then I brought this pair of pants and like another pair. So I had 2 pairs of jeans, an extra pair of shoes in case, and other than that, just like underwear and socks, and that was it. I mean, and you just learn how to pack efficiently. You do the army roll. You roll stuff up rather than like, folding it, and it's pretty easy. You just start looking like what you don't need when you travel, and it's simple, like bringing plain t-shirts. I brought the hoodie and the flannel were like, if it's cold, wear one or both, and if I want to bring stuff back, if I need room, you just leave t-shirts, throw them out and make t-shirts, you know what I mean? Get another t-shirt for $6-7, who cares? Not that big a deal. Travel toothbrush, toothpaste, like those things, little things are like whatever, you can find space.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really not. I mean, the most cumbersome thing I had was my camera. I had like a small separate thing, but that fit in the backpack too if I had to. So, like clothes took like half the backpack, and the top half was like empty. So I think just learning to pack efficiently and like figuring out like what you don't need when you travel is the main thing. It's not, but it's not as intimidating as it sounds.
No, I'm the same way every time I travel for work, because I'm going to be gone for at least 4 months. Yeah, I think like, what am I going to need long term, right? And like the more and more you do it, the more and more you start putting things on the chopping block, and it's like I've kind of just figured out I'm going to pack for 4 days, and then if I need to wash, I can wash my clothes on the ship, whatever. But like, I don't know how it was in France. I was in Spain briefly last year. A lot of people there, at least where I was, they would do something like they'd wear like say this t-shirt and then the next day just turn it inside out and wear the same shirt. So it's like they're not huge on like washing clothes. It seems to be like a hugely American thing, and we always need to be washing clothes. So it's like if I have to rewear something, nobody's gonna look at me like, oh, what the heck,
I think like fashion is big in Paris. It's like its main thing, but I think slow fashion is bigger too. Like it's more about like having a personal style than it is about having a lot of stuff.
Right.
I think people here have like a lot of clothes they don't really need. You know what I mean? Like I try to keep my wardrobe like 40 things, and that's it. Nothing I don't really need. So I think they're bigger on stuff like buying clothes, willing to spend more money on clothes that they'll have a longer time, that are a higher quality, than going to like Walmart and buying a bunch of like cheaply made stuff because it's cheap, but then not really wearing it that often. Buying something like wearing it once. I don't think people do that as much. Other places in the world in general.
Yeah.
I think that maybe like Western Europe, probably there's some of that because, I mean, like America's kind of, our culture kind of seeps other places, but I think fast fashion is not the norm around the world. No. But I mean, fashion was definitely something noticed there. That was like a big thing. Everyone kind of was dressed everyone had a style.
Yeah.
There, you know what I mean? There was nobody wearing khakis and like a button-up checker, like a red and white checker shirt. You know what I mean? Something that you would see like 10 guys walk downtown Saratoga. You'd see 10 dudes wearing.
Yeah.
Or walking in a group wearing like all the same thing, especially during the summer. There was like none of that. So.
So Kev, I know it's for work. It's not necessarily personal choice, but how did you handle going all these places by yourself?
Well, because I'm traveling on military orders most of the time, it makes it fairly easy. Like when I land in Japan, like I did in March, you show them your orders because I was talking with Bret a little bit about this last time. Like a lot of people in Japan speak English, but they're not comfortable speaking because they don't want to screw it up. It's like which is too bad because it's like I'm not going to judge, But it's one of those things. It's nice because they see that letterhead, like Department of the Navy or whatever, and they just kind of like they push you on through. You get your own line and everything. But every time I come back, I work in like around engines and stuff, so my clothes get like a really strong like diesel smell. And I almost always get flagged by security because they're detecting for like explosives and stuff, and they pick up diesel and they're like, "Sir, have you been working around explosives?" Well, yes, but not the way you think. All right, like I'm not a bad guy, but no, I think I think a lot of what Nolan's saying is right. Like once you kind of do this stuff, you kind of learn to streamline your processes and whatnot. And it's traveling overseas. Once you do it once or twice, it's like. That becomes like traveling anywhere else. You just have to know how to anticipate. Like, if you go to France once and you have some sort of issue with de Gaulle Airport or whatever, you learn that next time you go there, hey, I may need to prepare for this situation again. So once you kind of, work through it once or twice, it's like anything. You figure it out. It's normal.
Yeah.
I've kind of come to be used to living out of a suitcase the last 2 years, so
Yeah. I mean, it's a different mechanic, but I agree with that too for like airports. Because once again, the first time I was managing an airport, oh crap. Okay, well this is here, and I gotta get over there, and I only have... But now I'm like not even thinking about it. Yeah. Like layovers, I don't know, these last couple times, like, I feel like I give myself a time to sit down, but I do pretty well of like, okay, get off the plane, go here. Oh, we're already loaded. All right, let's go. There's no stopping. I'm fine with that. But like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Chicago O'Hare sucks, and I'm like, I've never had a problem. Go down the escalator, walk this thing, go up the escalator. Here you are.
Philadelphia is the worst airport. I'm telling you, I've flown out of there probably 8 to 10 times, and I've never once had a flight that was on time. There was even one time they said, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, a flight, blah blah blah. We're currently looking for a flight crew." They didn't even have a pilot or a co-pilot. It's like, this is a scheduled flight that I booked like 2 months ago. If it wasn't a surprise to me, why was it a surprise to you,
But imagine trying to go through that, when you said it's like not stressful, if you had to carry like a significant other and like 2 kids or like grandparents. That's when it becomes like, that's when people start to like complain because you have to, it's not necessarily that, it's like a compounding issue of airports, and then having to, the more people you add, it just slows it down, especially young people.
For sure.
Older people, but what would you say was the strangest cultural difference when you went to Singapore?
Well, so, you wouldn't think it, because, like, Singapore, like, most of the people, I think, and I could be wrong here, most of the people in Singapore are, I believe, ethnically Chinese, or at least they are now. Whether they were originally or not, I don't know. But I think, economic climates being what they are, I think like a lot of Asia is being dominated by Chinese descended people. But they're overwhelmingly Islamic. Mm-hmm. So there are certain things you have to understand that you can't do. It was even something simple. I think I was telling Bret maybe last time, but when I was flying out, you had people that were trying to order drinks on the flight, and they said, hey, we can't serve that until we're out of Singapore airspace because of religious laws, and I've seen that in the Middle East. It was just kind of weird being in Asia having that, but I totally forgot, But yeah, little things like that, and sometimes during Ramadan, trying to get like a bacon cheeseburger like on a Friday, it's just not gonna happen. It's just not, But other than that, no, Singapore is actually super westernized, and so it's not that bad to get through, to be honest.
I think there were 3 things I noticed in France most. Like the first being everyone rides scooters, and I don't mean like Vespas, but they do. Those are big, and that makes sense. But I'm talking like Razor scooters. They have like municipal. You know how I think they have them in Albany. They have them in cities where they'll have like a bike. We have an app on your phone. You can rent them.
They had those in San Jose, but they're electric ones. Whee!
Yes, so they have. Yes, they had stable motor. They had those, but more than those, they had Razor-ish scooters like that had a motor. So many people using them, not just like young people, like older people. Couples were on them, like standing, like it was wild. Actually, I guess there were more. The PDA was big. That was seeing like an old couple like with the woman like straddling the dude in the park.
Oh,
like
right.
it was, and nobody saying anything. That was, and it's definitely much more culturally diverse, I think, than most of here. It just seemed like everywhere you'd see every like group of friends walking or something. It just seemed like every group had like a white person, an Arab person, an African person. Because like France is like Paris, especially not France as a whole. I think Paris is very super multicultural. They have that history of like Algiers being part, like, So that was interesting. It was just, it's not. Maybe it's just upstate New York you don't see that as much, but that was different. Toronto was the only other place I noticed that was as diverse and multicultural, so that was really cool. But the most offensive thing, it just made me so angry, with every time I would walk past a pizza shop, because they have a lot of them for some reason, and I'm talking like thin pizza, right? Not like Chicago deep dish.
Right.
They all ate pizza with a fork and knife.
Oh, that's
on a plate. Like they would take the slice, put it on their plate, fork and knife. Nobody's walking around eating pizza either on the street, and it's just like if it's like a deep dish pizza, that's one thing. Like you get a pass because that's basically like a pie.
It's a casserole.
Yeah, like it's a different thing. But we're talking like Neapolitan style, New York, flat, thin pizza, just fold it. Like, I don't understand why this is a hard concept for people outside in New York. I don't know if when you were living in California that was also difficult for people to get the fold down, but it just, we might not have technically invented pizza in New York.
It's the home.
Yeah, we invented pizza. Might be from Napoli in Italy, but whatever. It's a New York thing.
That's the
right?
thing.
And it's just, come on. That's like one step away from eating the Snickers bar with a fork and knife, like Seinfeld. Like that's just.
Oh, that's.
Lady just says you're personally offended by the use of silverware.
Yeah. I mean, would you eat pizza with chopsticks? It's just not...
I can't use chopsticks in general, so no.
Yo, not that hard. Not that hard. It's super nice.
Yeah, but...
It's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's a finger food. Like, if I saw someone... I mean, it's less offensive to me to see people eating fries with a fork and knife for some reason.
Yeah, I get you.
But it's just something about, like...
The crust is a handle. Just pick it
Man,
up.
just pick it up. It's finger food, you know?
Dude, that's like when you had like that whole presidential election thing in 2016, right? Everybody's getting mad at Trump for potentially legitimate reasons for things he's saying, whatever.
Taco Bowl.
The thing that got me was they got a picture of him in public. The man is from Manhattan, right? The epicenter of America pizza. And he's cutting it with a fork and knife. And I'm sitting there going, shame on you. New York City should boot you just for that. I don't even care what you say. That was what bothered me.
I mean, it's sort of like you're in a restaurant and you see a person eating a hamburger with a fork and knife. It's like, the bun is there for a reason. What are you doing? And that's not a New York thing. That's
That's America.
I understand if like they're cutting in half or quarters.
No.
But no. Well, initially, because they're...
That's what you get the mini sliders for, Bret.
Hey.
That's what they're for.
Not everybody's smart like that.
Well, they should be.
They should, but we're giving them too much credit.
And so, this girl I had dated earlier in the year, like beginning of the year, who like every once in a while she'll still talk to me, like we're friends, it's cool, but like she responded and was like, I ate pizza with a fork and knife, And I was like, how did I not
Done.
know this? I was like, how did I not know this? Yeah. And she was like, because you would have broken up with me if you knew. And I was like, but we got a pizza. I remember, I went out, I got us a whole pie from Esperanto, brought it back, and you didn't eat a fork and knife. And her response was, I wasn't being my true self.
Oh my god.
Yo, you can even roll a pizza as a whole and eat it like a burrito. Like, even the whole thing doesn't need a fork and knife.
It's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker.
Absolutely.
It honestly is. Like, I could never be with someone that eats pizza with fork and knife. I just don't
ladies.
Just saying.
Just pick it up.
Especially if it's just a cheese. What are you doing? What are you doing? There's not even toppings that are sliding off. You're not worried about it. Like, even I don't know.
There's only one acceptable use of a knife for the pizza, and that's when you're pulling yours off and it looks like it's going to pull the cheese off like a blanket. You just give it a little cut, a little incision, you're good to go.
I usually use the little triangular spatula.
Oh,
it's not as sharp, but I don't think to grab the knife and just like,
just
kind of hack at
no.
it.
You got that roller cutter?
Yeah, like a dull axe that an executioner would use. Yeah, just hack at it.
This topic took a turn. Wait, what are we talking about? Lady says she doesn't even know how you'd eat a hamburger with a fork and knife without it just falling apart.
That's yeah.
And moral of the story, eat your pizza with your hands or your boyfriend will break up with you. Got it. Yes. Fact. 100%. That's what this podcast is for.
Relationship advice.
Yep. Nailing it. Alright. Any other talking points about travel? As we took that in turn.